What is going on, everyone? Thank you so much for watching this video. I want to create the most in-depth but easy to follow video showing you how to set up a consultation or discovery call calendar within GoHighLevel. So in this video, I'm going to take you from the initial setup, meaning connecting our calendars, connecting our video conferencing, all the way to actually creating the calendar, but then also how to share that calendar and put it on a website that we have either in GoHighLevel or a different platform. So go ahead, watch all of this video. I promise you, I've made it as in-depth as possible, but also simple to follow, such that you can set this up and have a calendar that sends out email automations when people book with you, when people cancel with you, and when people reschedule with you. So go ahead, check this video out, and let's get to it. Before actually putting together our calendars, and you may have done it already, is we want to go into our My Profile and make sure that our calendars are connected as well as our video conferencing software. Okay, so I'm going to show you right now, and you may already have this connected, but where we want to go to do this is we want to go into, firstly, settings in the bottom left, then into My Profile. Now, as well as our calendars and our video conferencing software, we also really want to make sure, firstly, that when we get to user availability, that our time zone here is set to the same time zone we have in our business profile, which is set here. So I really want to make sure that this here is set to the same time zone, like mine wasn't. So we want to make sure that this is the same here. So it's set to Eastern time. The reason we want to do this is because the calendars will check for your business profile time zone, whereas your My Profile is checking your own time zone. So if those are mismatched, then the availability that shows in the calendar is not going to match with the availability that you actually have. So as we go back into My Profile, we've checked off the first thing, which is making sure that our time zones are the same as the profile, or as the business profile, sorry. The second thing we want to do here is when we get down to user availability, we can set how we want to be available. Now, the easiest thing to do is to set our user availability and then set our calendar availability to be wide open. This way, you can keep adding calendars without having to kind of manipulate each of those availabilities. You can just set your primary availability directly here in the user availability. So here you can say when you want to be available. Now, we're still going to connect our own personal calendars, which makes sure that we're not getting double booked in our family time or personal time or anything like that. But what you're going to do here is give a general outline of when you want to be available. So maybe for me, I want to be available Monday to Friday, and I'm just going to turn this 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. from Monday to Friday. Now, what I can do here is I can actually copy. And when I copy, it will actually copy these times to all of my available days. So now I'm available 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. We obviously don't want to be available just 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. because what if you have some sort of personal commitments or things already in your personal calendars? That's why after we update our availability, it's going to be important. We want to make sure that when we go up to calendar settings, this is where we're actually connecting our specific Google Calendar or Outlook calendar. Because when we have our calendar up and running, it's going to be able to check these personal calendars to make sure that we're not being double booked, or to even make sure that when someone books with us on GoHighLevel, that booking will show within our personal calendar. So when we go to calendars, you'll know you don't have any connected yet because it will say no connections found. You may have already gone through this and you can kind of skip ahead the video, but what we want to do here is add new. Now you see all the options that you have here. So the main ones are going to be Google Calendar and Outlook Calendar. You may also be working on iCloud, and you may want to even connect your Calendly calendar. But either way, it is super simple, and GoHighLevel have made this so easy just to click connect, log in to your respective calendar, and it connects it like that. So for example, I'm going to do the Google one right now. I'm going to select connect. It will then open up a separate page where I can go and click my email here. I can click continue. I can click allow. And now it's being connected. So it's just going to load for a second here. And you can see here, now it's being connected. Once it has been connected, you'll notice that it will automatically add that calendar to the linked calendar as well as the conflict calendar. Now, the way these calendars work here, what these actually mean is, firstly, the linked calendar is going to be the calendar, so your personal calendar, which when someone books with you on GoHighLevel, that meeting will populate on this personal calendar that you have here. So for example, if someone goes ahead and books with one of my calendars in GoHighLevel, that booking will show up on this calendar here. However, the conflict calendars down here are used to block off time to make sure that no one's booking with me in my GoHighLevel calendar when these slots are filled in these calendars here. So we can actually add as many different calendars as we want here, but we can only add one to our linked calendar. So for example, if I wanted to add a new Google Calendar, I can go ahead and click and add a new Google Calendar here. I can also connect an Outlook calendar here. once we've connected our calendars, we can then move on to video conferencing. Now, a quick note about video conferencing is if you're using Google Meet, you need to make sure that you've actually connected your Google Calendar first. So if you've connected your Google account here and set it as the linked calendar, then you'll be able to use this account for your Google Meets. If you haven't done this, you won't be able to use Google Meets. You'll have to use a different kind of video conferencing software. So the other kind of main software that you'll be using is something like Zoom. So you'll see here when you go into video conferencing, if you have Google connected, you can use that Google Meets account. You don't have to do anything here. We can just set and make sure that this here is set to Google Meet. What I can do instead though is I can add new. So let's say I wanted to use Zoom. I can add new here and I can connect Zoom instead. That's going to work the exact same way that when we connect our calendar, it's going to prompt us to log into our Zoom account. So when you go ahead, sign into Zoom, it's going to ask for some permissions and you're just going to select allow. And after a little bit of time, you'll see here your Zoom account connected. Once we've done this, we are ready to start actually putting together our calendar. So again, we want to make sure that we have our calendars all configured here, and we've added our video conferencing that we want to use for the specific calendar bookings. So now we're going to move on to actually building out the discovery call or consultation call calendar. Okay, so now we can actually start putting together this calendar, and where we're going to go to do this is straight into the calendars tab here on the left. When we go in here, we can then go into calendar settings. Now, if you haven't created any calendars yet, or you're not working off any snapshots, you should not see any calendars here. So I'm going to show you the actual setup of going from A to Z, creating this calendar from scratch. So the first thing we're going to do here is create calendar. Now, for almost everyone here, this is going to be a personal booking. What a personal booking means is you are the person who is assigned to the calendar, which means when someone books with you, it will automatically be assigned to you. Something like a round robin calendar would be used if you had multiple people that someone could book with. Class bookings, obviously, if you're going to have large number of people in your classes. Collective bookings also mean if you have more than one host. Okay, so for almost everyone here, we're going to be using a personal booking for your discovery call or consultation call calendar. Now the calendar name here is going to be just the name of the calendar as it shows when someone gets to your calendar page. So you can imagine if I want to say something like discovery call with Isaac. Now, by default, the select team members will be assigned to you if you are the one who is logged into the platform. So you can leave this here. If you're building this for someone else, you can click this drop down and select the user that this calendar is supposed to be assigned to. Under custom URL, this is going to be the URL that we can use when you want to actually share the direct link to your calendar. So for example, a really good kind of way to set this up is if this is a discovery call with me, I can literally just copy the name of the calendar. I'm going to paste it down here. And what I'm going to do is everywhere that there's a space, I'm going to add a dash because we can't actually have spaces in a URL. So I'm adding dashes here. Now we can select the meeting duration. This is going to be how long our discovery call or consultation call calendar is going to, or I guess how long the meetings are going to be. So let's say for my case, I want to set these to 45 minutes. Now, then we can go into advanced settings. I know it's showing you availability, but we're going to figure this out anyway when we go into advanced settings. You can upload your logo here. Keep in mind, you want to keep this a square logo. So when you upload it, if you make it portrait or landscape, it's going to look a little funky. We want to make sure that if you do want to upload your logo, it's going to be a square. You can see here it says maximum dimensions, 180 by 180 pixels. Under the calendar name is where we can add a description. So you can imagine when someone lands on your calendar, it's going to have the calendar name, and then it's going to have a description under it. We can add a description here, and you can make this as long as you want. You can make it as short as you want. But for me, I might want to say something like, okay, 45. More about high level. Okay, 45-minute discovery call to learn more about ABC and to discuss this and to kind of learn about this. I'm not going to touch on calendar groups in this because we really just want to create this calendar and get this up and running. Again, here's that custom URL. The meeting link here, this is interesting, but this is going to be the meeting link that actually shows up on someone's Google Calendar or Outlook calendar when they book with you. So you can call this whatever you want, and we can use custom fields over here to populate things like the person's name. So by default, it will say here, contact name. So you can imagine if John is booking with you, this will just say John, and let's say his last name Smith, this will say John Smith. So what we can do here is we can leave their first name, we can leave their name. Let's say we want to keep this. We can add on to this. Now, the reason it's good to provide context in the meeting invite is if you can imagine someone is looking at their Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar and they see a meeting there and they're like, what is this? If it just says their name, they're going to be like, I don't know what this is. But if we add something like discovery call with, your name or even your business name here, then it's going to provide a lot more context as to, who is actually, who is this meeting with? So even as a bonus, what we can do here is we can add our business name after as well. So we've already selected ourselves as a team member. Now, the reason we wanted to integrate our video conferencing at the start is because this is where we can actually select whether we're going to use Google Meets, Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or even a custom link. So under meeting location, I'm going to click this drop down and I'm going to select from this list here. So I connected a Zoom account, so I want to use Zoom. When you select either Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams, it will automatically generate the link and create that meeting for you and send that link to the person, okay? This is gonna work for Zoom, Google Meet, and Microsoft Teams once you've had it connected, which is what we did at the start of the video. If you would rather just keep one Zoom meeting link or one Google Meets link that's just always used, what we're gonna use here is custom, and you're gonna paste that Zoom link or Google Meets link right here. But since we've integrated Zoom, it makes a lot more sense to just generate a new Zoom link every time someone books with us. So again, you can do this with Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams. Once I'm happy with this, I'm going to click save, and that will take me onto my availability. So at the start of this video, I said when you go into your user availability in my profile, set it how you actually want to be available. Because then what we can do is we can just make sure that we are wide open on our calendar availability. What this then does is it will reference your user availability, and we don't really have to worry about configuring the calendar availability for each one of our calendars that we end up building. Instead, we can just focus on our user availability and let that figure out when we're going to be available for our different bookings. So for here, what I can do is I can literally just set this to 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. and I'm going to copy these to all and apply. So now every single day we're available from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. There's a really, really cool feature that you can use in here, which is called Look Busy. So if you're a newer coach and you're kind of starting up your business and you want to kind of not just have 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. filled with slots where it doesn't look like you're getting, you're not working with anyone, you're not generating any business, what we can do is Look Busy. You can insert a percent in here, which is going to be the percentage of meetings or slots that it will hide in your calendar. So if you want to say Look Busy 50%, this will actually hide 50% of your availability and kind of space them out so it looks like maybe you're not available at all time slots. So this is a really, really cool feature that you can actually implement. Now, since we're working on a discovery call calendar, we don't need to worry about recurring. This is going to be a one-time meeting that someone's going to book with us. The meeting interval here is going to be how often the meetings will show up that someone can book into. So if I set this to 30 minutes as the default, let's say my meeting slots will show for 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m., 9:30, going by half hour. If I set this to 60 minutes, it would only show like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., etc. I'm going to leave this right now for 30 minutes. The meeting duration, we already configured this. This is going to be how long the meeting actually is. Minimum scheduling notice is going to be how much notice do you actually need when someone books with you. So for example, if you set this here to 2 hours, what this means is right now, someone could hop on your calendar and book with you 2 hours from now. If we set this to 24 hours, it means that no one can book with you until 24 hours into the future. So again, something to keep in mind is it's really, really good to be available sooner rather than later, because if someone's deciding to hop on a call with you, it's going to be really valuable if they can hop on with you quickly while they're already in the mood, they're already interested, they're showing interest. This, again, though, is going to be completely up to you. I'm going to set this to 4 hours. Date range is going to be how far in advance you want someone to be able to book with you. Now, I would not recommend making this too long that someone can book 6 weeks in advance with you, because it just doesn't make sense. If someone's booking with you 6 weeks in advance, they aren't interested. My suggestion is to keep this as short as you can, ideally something like a week, maybe even 2 weeks. So I'm going to set this to 1 week. So someone can book with me between 4 hours from now and 1 week from now. You can also set maximum bookings per day. That's going to be if someone books with you once on Wednesday. If you want to only allow, let's say, 3 people to book with you on the same day for this calendar, we can set this up here as well. Now, I'm not going to touch too much on pre-buffer and post-buffer time, but essentially this is just if you want to add, when someone books with you, you want to block off time in advance of your meeting. You can also do this as well as after your meeting. This will actually block the time off in your own calendar. And then we're going to go save. So here we can by default use the default form, which is going to collect the person's first name, last name, email, phone, and any notes before they book with you. If you want to actually create a whole kind of list of questions, things you want to capture, information you want to capture before someone books with you, we first actually need to create a form. So you would do that in Sites, Forms, you would create the form with all the information that you want to collect from someone. Then you'd be able to select that from here. Again, because I'm trying to make this simple, not too long video, we're just going to select the default here. The confirmation page here, this is just going to be the message that shows after someone has booked with you. So you can completely customize this, but you can say, thank you, booking with me. I've just sent you an email with a Zoom link. And the reason I can say this is because I'm going to set this up. I'm also going to provide a support email if they have any questions. So I'm going to say, please email us at, and then maybe you can put your support email, your personal email, whatever email you want them to reach out to if they have any questions. I'm going to leave everything else here as it is. We want to auto-confirm, meaning that when someone books with us, we just want that to auto-confirm the meeting. And then we're going to click save. Now, I'm not going to worry too much about some of the stuff down here, but this is where we can actually add things like when someone books with us, we want to send out confirmation email. We want to send emails leading up to the meeting. If someone cancels with us, we want to send emails saying, hey, would you like to rebook with us? If someone reschedules with us, we can notify ourselves and also the person and let them know, hey, here's the new meeting time. So this is what I'm going to show you how to set up right here. We can do this with automations and we can go in a lot more depth with automations, but right now I want to show you the simplest way to set this up, which is going to be using the direct notifications here. So the first one we can ignore because this is for unconfirmed meetings. Since we're auto-confirming all bookings, we don't need to worry about the unconfirmed status of the meetings. We're going to first focus on status confirmed. This means when someone books with you, what's going to happen? So we can go into edit this. So what we're going to do is we're going to enable the emails, and then we can select who we actually want to send emails to. The main two that we're going to want to send to is the contact, the person who is actually booking the meeting with us, and the assigned user, which is going to be yourself. Additional emails is up to you if you want to notify other email addresses, but I'm going to leave that toggled off for now. So under contact, you can click this drop down. And you can see that an email has been pre-written for you for when someone books with you. Now, if you don't really care too much about the messaging, then you can literally just turn this on like I've done now and you can leave it. But this is where you can really get creative with how you want your message to show when someone books with you. The things that I would suggest definitely leaving are at the bottom, add to calendar. We want them to be able to add the meeting to their calendar, as well as things like the appointment time. The appointment title, the date and time, and the meeting link. These things are auto-generated as custom fields here that you don't want to mess with. Because for example, the appointment start time and the appointment time zone are going to be very specific to the person that books with you. So if you get rid of these, then the message will not make sense. Same thing with the location. This is what is going to show the Zoom link or Google Meets link or Microsoft Teams link that we added in our meeting details when we were creating the calendar. So you can kind of change this messaging. For now, I'm going to keep this as it is, and I'm going to save. When we close this, we can also change the email that gets sent to us, the user. Now, this is obviously going to yourself, so you don't need to make it look fancy, you don't need to do anything like that, but you can just kind of take a look at this and see how this will look when someone books with you. It will send yourself this email here. And then you can close it like that. So now we can see that we have this enabled for the contact and for the assigned user. And I'm going to save this. then we can close this one. And you can see it's enabled because it's in green now. So the email's been enabled for when someone books an appointment. The next most important one that we want to actually configure is the reminder emails. So if someone books with us, and let's say they're booking a week in advance, if we just send a confirmation, there's a good chance that they forget about that. But if we remind them, let's say 1 day before, 1 hour before, this can be really, really valuable in increasing your show up rates, okay? So what we're gonna do here next to the reminder is we're gonna go edit this email now. So I'm gonna enable. Again, I don't need to worry about additional emails for now. The main one we want to configure here is the one for the contact. You can, again, look at the one that's going to be sent to yourself, the assigned user, but the main thing here is the contact email. We want to make sure that this is configured. You'll see the first thing it says, when would you like to trigger the notification? This is going to be completely up to you, but this is going to be my recommendation. We're going to do one, that is 1 day before the appointment starts. We're going to do another one, so we're going to add another one here, which is 1 hour before the appointment starts. This in itself will completely drastically change the amount of people that show up to your meetings if you were only sending one confirmation at the start. Okay, this is going to be so powerful. Then when we come down, this is where we're configuring that email that is sent both 1 day before and 1 hour before. So again, you can see it's already written, but it says this is a friendly reminder about your upcoming appointment. Here are the details. If you don't want it to say appointment, if you want it to say something different, you can customize all of this stuff. But again, the main things that you do want to keep in here are anything in these curly brackets, because they're going to auto-populate based on the information that you've provided and based on the person that's booking with you. So once we've configured all of that, we can then go ahead and click save. And we can then close the reminder settings. And you can see here, email is green, which means it's been enabled. The next ones we can actually look at here is cancellation and reschedule. So if someone cancels your appointment with you, we want to give them a chance to rebook with us. We want to follow up with them and say, hey, we noticed you canceled. Would you like to rebook with us? So what we're going to do here is we're going to edit this. Same way we're editing the other ones, we're going to enable this here. I don't need additional emails. And I want to make sure that under contact, and you can see here, this is the email that's been pre-built for you. So it just lets them know we, regret to inform you that the upcoming meeting originally scheduled for has been cancelled. Here are the details for your reference. Now, what we can do here instead, because maybe the person who is booking with us actually cancelled it themselves. If they cancel the meeting, what we want to do instead is we want to provide a reschedule link. So you can change all this. So maybe we want to say, appointment start date and time zone. What we can do instead of this is we want to get them to reschedule. So what we can do here is we can say, now you might be thinking, well, what is the reschedule link? We can grab the reschedule link from our list of custom values. So I'm going to click this tag up here. I'm going to go into appointment because it's going to be an appointment field. And if I scroll down, I'll be able to find the reschedule link. What this means is if someone cancels the appointment, it will send them this email and they will then be able to reschedule using this link. Because you've sent them an email saying, hey, sorry that canceled, here is the reschedule link. And they will be able to use this to then go ahead and book with you. So once we've configured that, we can then go ahead and click save. Same thing with the reschedule. So if I go to edit the reschedule notification here, you can see here, this notification is sent when an appointment is rescheduled. It will only be triggered if the appointment is unconfirmed or confirmed. So when I click enabled here, when I go into contact here, this is essentially letting them know that their appointment has been rescheduled. So if someone either cancels first and reschedules with you, this will automatically send this email. Or if someone just reschedules with you right off the bat, this is the email that's going to be sent. So here it will say your upcoming appointment has been rescheduled. Here are the updated details. And then you're providing, again, the meeting information, the title, the location. You don't want to mess around with these curly brackets, but everything else you can customize for your specific voice. And then we can save. We can also set up the exact same way we've set up all these other emails, follow-ups. This is going to be once the meeting's actually being completed, we can follow up with the person. okay? So you can say things like, hey, like, thanks again for the call, blah, blah, blah. Would you like to, book another call? Are you interested in this, etc., etc. I'm not going to touch on this one right now, but that is, if you do want to add it, you can add it here. When we scroll down below all of the notifications that we've now set up, we can then enable these, allow Google Outlook Calendar to send invitation and update emails to attendees. We want to enable this. The reason we want to enable this is because when someone books with us, it will automatically create the Google or Outlook or whatever calendar they're using. It will automatically generate that meeting appointment within their calendar, which is going to be perfect. They don't need to add it themselves. It will just automatically be generated. I'm not going to touch too much on this here, but what we can then do is go save, and then we can go into actually customizing our calendar. So here what we can do is we can set the primary color and the background color of our calendar. Now, if you want to actually see what this looks like before going ahead and kind of, making this live, is we can actually go and preview our widget. And what you'll see right now is the title and the description down here. The primary color by default is going to be this blue color, and the background is going to be white. If you've added your logo, it will appear above here, above the discovery call with whatever you've named the title of the calendar. When we go back into GoHighLevel or HighLevel, what you can then do is you can change the primary color here to match your specific business. So if you know your specific color code, or you can find it on the scale here, you can select what you want your color to be. So maybe I want it to be this color here, and maybe I want to leave the background white. You can also change the button when someone actually confirms that they want to book with you. You can change that button here to say, book appointment, or even for my case, book discovery call. Now I can go ahead and preview my widget again. You can see here that purple color is added. And now we can go through the steps and we can see what this looks like. There we go. So now we can put in our first name, last name, phone, email, any notes, confirm, and we can book discovery call. We can then go back into HighLevel and save this. Once we've saved this, we have now actually created our calendar. So the next step will then be to actually test this out. Now, one thing I do want to keep, one thing you should keep in mind here is if you have not done something like configured your dedicated email domain, it will be sending from HighLevel's or whatever white labeled agency you're using. It will be using their dedicated email domain. So I'm not going to cover this in this video. I'll create another video for this, but essentially we want to make sure that we have actually configured our dedicated email domain in order for those email notifications to actually be sent from our business, okay? So once we've actually created the calendar, we are now ready to share that calendar. And we can do this by clicking Share Calendar. Now, you might be a little bit confused about what all these different links mean, and I'm going to tell you right now. The scheduling link is going to be the link that you created, because you'll see here it says at the end, Discovery Call with Isaac. That's what I created it to be. And we can use this for people, and they can book appointments with us using this link. One thing to keep in mind, though, is if you put this link somewhere, and you go to edit your calendar, and you change the backslash here, anywhere that you've put this link, you'll need to go ahead and update it, which is why there's a permanent link. This permanent link basically means even if you change the scheduling link, when you go to edit the calendar by changing this string here, the permanent link will always be the same. The permanent link will never ever change. So that's something to keep in mind too. If we ever want to send a one-time link, what this will do is if you send this to someone, so you copy this and send this to someone, once they've booked using this link, they will never ever be able to use that link again. It will be inactive. So that would be if you just want to send someone a one-time booking link. For most people, we're going to use the scheduling link here. We're going to copy this. And you can even try this right now. You can put it in a new browser. And this is going to be the link that someone can book a discovery call with you. And now we've set it up. The next thing that you really want to make sure that you start doing is testing this out. So you're going to want to select the slot, put in your information, confirm the booking, and make sure that those emails are being sent to you. And you can also make sure that those emails are being triggered when you go into Conversations here. So if you go into Conversations, you'll be able to see all of those emails start going out. Okay, so maybe you don't just want to have a link, but you actually want to put your calendar on your website, or you want to put it on a website that doesn't exist on HighLevel. I'm going to show you how to do both of those things right now. So if we go into Calendar, I'm going to show you firstly, if you want to add it to a website or a funnel that is not on HighLevel. This is how we can do it. we're going to go back into our calendars here. We are then going to share a calendar. And this time we're going to go into the embedded code. You're then going to copy this code. And depending on what website builder or funnel builder you're using, you'll probably want to add some sort of HTML code block within your website. And this will be the code that you'll be adding in there. Okay. That's going to be if you have a website that you're using that is not on GoHighLevel. If you're using a high-level website, it's a lot simpler. We're just going to go into our sites. You're going to go into your websites. If you're using a website, for example, I don't have one right now, but I'm going to create one from scratch. I'm going to add a new page to my website. I'm going to create this one from blank, but you may already have a website that you're building. You may have used a template. Whatever you're using, this is going to be how we can actually add the calendar now into our website somewhere. So what we're going to do is, let's say we have a section on here, we have a row on here. Then what we can do is add elements. I'm going to go into element here. I'm going to find the calendar element. I'm going to drag and drop it wherever I want it on my website. Then into this dropdown, we're going to select the calendar that we've just created. Now we've added our calendar directly onto our website. So that means we don't have to send someone a link specifically to it. Instead, we can send them a link to our website page. Now, this video is not about editing websites or editing funnels, but this is how we can add it to one of the pages on our website. So let's say you're building a website and you want to have like a book a discovery call page. This would be the way to do it. If you are interested in having our team help you build out your different high-level pieces for your coaching business, then go ahead and book a call. The link is in the description below. And what we can do is really help you utilize GoHighLevel using our own white-labeled agency. Okay, so we provide one-on-one support over Zoom where we can help you develop the various pieces to your coaching business. We have also designed a complete framework to building your coaching business from scratch, showing you everything from what I showed you in this video today, we've already built out for you, to having website templates that are pre-built using the calendar that we've already built for you, using contact us forms that are already built out for you, and built out all these different email automations such that when someone wants to download a free resource or download a 5-day challenge or anything that you're selling or even offering, all of those email automations are already built out for you. If you want something that's kind of plug and play and already built out for you, then definitely go ahead, book a call with us. And the best part is we provide continuous one-on-one support to help you implement all of these things. If you found this video helpful though, feel free to like the video, feel free to comment any suggestions that you would like for future videos, and also feel free to subscribe.